Ever sent a quick chat to your team and suddenly everyone panics because they thought you were mad? Managing through screens strips away our tone and body language, turning simple feedback into a digital drama. Today, I'm giving you the DIAL protocol. This is a tactical 3-step system designed to fix your remote communication and rebuild trust through the camera lens. My job is to help you navigate the hidden rules of the modern workplace. If you want to master your office politics, whether you're in a boardroom or a bedroom office, hit that subscribe button and let's get connected. Think about it. You would never break up with a partner over a text message, right? It's messy, cold, and causes massive misunderstanding. The exact same rule applies to your team. You should never give tough feedback over a quick chat app. While many managers choose chat or email because it feels comfortable, remember that comfort is the enemy of clarity. Step 1 of the DIAL protocol is determine the channel. Have you ever received a text from your boss that simply said, "We need to talk"? Now your heart stops because you assume the worst. That is a failure of media richness. Based on the research by Duff and Lengel, communication channels vary in their ability to convey cues. Low richness channels like text and email are fine for data or logistics, but high richness channels like video and face-to-face are essential for ambiguity, emotion, and negotiation. If you try to resolve a conflict over email, you strip away 90% of the data, like the tone and facial expressions, leaving the brain to fill in those gaps and fear. Here's the real-life scenario. The lazy manager types like this: "Your performance in the third quarter deck was disappointing. Fix it." The result? The employee panics, feels attacked, and the problem spirals. But the DIAL manager make a video call like this: "Hey, I want to talk about the third quarter deck. I see the effort, but the strategy section missed the mark. Let's walk through it." Now the result? Employee hears the support in the tone. Then problem gets solved. The rule is simple. If there is any chance of emotion, turn on the camera. Here's a question. What is the worst news you have ever received via text or email? Did it make the situation worse? Tell me your horror story in the comments below. Once you've chosen the right channel, you have to overcome the digital filter. Imagine you're in a video call, listening intently with a still blank face. In person, that looks like focus. Through a screen, it looks like resting Zoom face. It looks bored or even angry. This happens because the camera actually eats your charisma. You might think you look professional, but to the person on the other side, you look bored or angry. This brings us to step number 2, inflate the signal. Digital communication suffers from negativity bias. If you appear neutral on a call, you are actually perceived as negative. To be seen as neutral, you must actually be positive. Use your hands where the camera can actually see them. Because you aren't being fake here, you are just making sure your actual feelings make it through the Wi-Fi. You have to overact. Because the digital screen actually filters out your natural warmth and empathy, in this, you have to act a little bit bigger to be understood. You need to nod your head more noticeably when the other person is speaking. Smile a little wider. If you don't inflate your body language, the screen will make you look like a robot. Research from Stanford University's Virtual Human Interaction Lab shows that we suffer from nonverbal overload because we work so hard to interpret pixels. To counter this, you must inflate your warmth by 20%. And here's the real-life scenario. The stoic boss. Low signal, sit still, stone face, staring at the camera. I hear you. Go on. Now this feels like an interrogation, but the inflated boss with high signal, leans in, nods slowly, in concentration. I hear you. That makes sense. Tell me more about that. Now this feels like connection. If you don't inflate the signal, you are letting the screen win. So here's a question. Do you suffer from resting Zoom face? Do people think you're mad when you're just thinking? Type guilty in the comment section below. Now let's be real. Managing a remote team is the hardest leadership challenge of our generation. You can't walk by their desks to check in. You can't see their burnout in their eyes until they quit. If your organization is struggling with digital disconnect, if projects are stalling because people are misinterpreting emails or hiding behind black screens, you need a system. I teach the DIAL protocol to hybrid executive teams. We turn Zoom fatigue into Zoom fluency. If you want to equip your managers with these tools, click the link in the description below to apply for the corporate training. Distance doesn't have to mean disconnection. Now, even with the right channel and warm presence, remote meetings often end in a vacuum. How many times have you finished an online meeting and everyone nodded their heads, and then the very next day, nobody did the work? On screen, silence does not mean I agree. Usually, silence just means I am multitasking or I am confused, but I'm too shy to ask. In the previous step, you determined the right channel. You inflated your empathy. Now, how do you finish? In person, you can see someone walk away happy. On Zoom, they click Leave Meeting, and the screen goes black. You have no idea what they are thinking. Because of this, you cannot just ask, does everyone understand? And end the call. Everyone will just say yes to get offline faster. This brings us to step number 3, which is active confirmation and lock the loop. In a digital difficult conversation, you cannot accept a simple nod as a yes. You need to verbally confirm. You must use checkbacks every 3 minutes for active confirmation. For example, before I move on, does that make sense? Or what is your takeaway from what I just said? Don't ask, do you understand? Because again, they will just say yes. But ask them to summarize. Finally, you must lock the loop. This is the most critical step. In the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve shows we lose 50% of new information within an hour. In a remote world, if it isn't written down, it didn't happen. So immediately after the call, send a lock email confirming exactly what was agreed upon. For example, thanks for the call. Just to confirm, we agreed on X, Y, and Z. Now this replaces the water cooler debrief and creates a digital paper trail of psychological safety. Here's another real-life scenario. The amateur employee. Okay, good talk, see ya, and then clicks end. And then the employee is left confused. Wait, am I in trouble? But with the pro, using DIAL, before we jump, can you summarize the next steps? Just so you know, we are aligned. Great, I'll send recap email in 5 minutes. Thanks for being open. Now you are building a bridge over the digital divide. So here's a question. Do you send recap emails after tough calls? Or do you trust people to remember? Type yes or no in the comments below. Remote work is here to stay, and the screen can be either a barrier or a window. By using the DIAL protocol, determine the channel, inflate the signal, activate confirmation, and lock the loop. You can lead effectively from anywhere. But there is a dark side to this always-on world. When your office is your bedroom, the battery eventually runs out. You aren't just tired, you are empty. In our next episode, we're tackling the epidemic of burnout. And I'll show you how to tell your boss you're struggling without sounding like you're quitting. So if you're feeling exhausted right now, click the next video and I'll see you there.